All right, I'm rolling. Who gives a shit? Let's go with it. All right, I got my co-host again, Robert Benenati, over here. He's very intrigued right now.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
So I came up with a new idea for a podcast, and I think this relates to him a little bit. And we don't know what to word it yet. I was going to call it Making Fitness Your New Haunt or Your New Hangout. And I know I come up with crazy titles. What do you got?
Well, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from with this.
All right, let me start here. So what I'm talking about.
How's the coffee?
It's delicious, thank you. Where'd you get it?
That's the one you bring.
Just
got it from you.
All right, so, you know, a lot of times people ask me, and I go through this even with Robert because we work out together sometimes. How do I get to the gym or how do I keep consistent with working out? And one of the things I tell them is, for me, and I'm going to use a gym for an example, and you can do this any which way you want. Me going to the gym, it's not me just going to a gym. I revolve my lifestyle actually around the gym as well. So I was telling Robert earlier, you know, if I do something, say I'm on the fence about working out that day, I still will do things that revolve around the gym. So for instance, if I'm going to go for coffee, I'm going to go to the coffee house that's near my gym. Because either before or after, I know I have access to going to the gym if I go to Publix. If I go get a smoothie, either in the gym or on the outskirts of the gym. But my point being is, I'm always hanging out near the gym or near something that is fitness related. Even if I meet my daughters on the other side of town, so say I'm an LA Fitness member, and I want to work out or meet them for dinner, I'll meet them near a gym if they have to leave, because then maybe I'll have enough time to go work out. So a lot of my lifestyle is geared. It's really, I should say, I make it accommodating for me to immediately have access to something healthy that day.
So you're trying to reduce the excuses of not going to a gym by being close to one.
Correct. And I'm using gym as that. But I'll spin it to this. Say I love Italian food. This is something I learned. And how I implemented this was actually traveling so much. People are always telling me about the best restaurants to go in all these different cities and states that I was in. I finally realized it wasn't just about the restaurant or staying in a certain hotel in a certain location. It was somebody that booked my travel once said, Rich, I booked you in Little Italy, San Francisco, long time ago. Mm-hmm. And I said, wow, they got hotels over there. They're like, yeah, it's right next to Chinatown. You got to stay in Chinatown. I said, okay. But what I learned was staying, I didn't even know, I should say this, I didn't know there was even hotels that close to like a Little Italy like that, because she knew I hung out in Little Italy's when I would travel a lot of times. But now that I was actually staying so close to one, I said, oh my God, everything that I want is accessible very quickly now. Mm-hmm. So it accommodated me. Not only in the morning, I'm at an Italian coffee house or whatever. At lunch, I got access to that. Dinner, drinks, whatever. I was exactly always where I needed to be. I didn't make it complicated, where a lot of times if I stayed, say I found a cheaper hotel across town.
Too far away, yeah.
Yeah, how am I going to get there all the time? Oh, there was always an excuse. So now with the gym too, I should say with fitness, say you're there, just saying, and I'm not working out that day. I'll go in and visit you. It becomes like a hangout. If I want a smoothie, again, instead of going to Planet Smoothie or somewhere on the outskirts, I'll go inside my gym. What happens is, before you know it, that becomes routine. That almost becomes part of my life. So a lot of times I may even go to the gym. It's not my day to work out, but I'll be like, you know what? Let me just go do a few laps. Let me go in a sauna and sit in a jacuzzi. Again, I'm doing something healthy instead of flipping it and saying, say I hang out at a bar. My whole life was about bars and restaurants, right? Gentlemen's clubs, nightclubs. I was fortunate enough to also hang out at a gym, but I realized most people, a lot of times, their hangouts aren't that healthy, right? It could be even cigars with me and you. Before you know it, we start hanging out more and more, doing more and more cigars. Instead of kind of living a healthier lifestyle, we kind of start slipping into an unhealthier one. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's my pitch.
By the way, who says smoking cigars is unhealthy? Listen, so now it kind of makes sense what you're saying, because when you think of a gym, when anyone, right, that doesn't have that lifestyle.
Right.
Right. And usually, at the beginning of the year, everybody, okay, so I'll start on January 2nd, I'll start the gym.
Yep.
Now they got this mentality. Now they need the clothing, right? And I guess in their head they figure out, okay, what does this look like? That means I have to come home, change, right? If they're coming from work, prep, get my gear, go to the gym, work out, sweat, be in pain, come back home. That's kind of the correlation they have.
Exactly.
Their mindset when they think of a gym.
It's not enjoyable.
Correct.
Yeah, and it could be a lot more enjoyable if they learned how to.
And that's what I'm looking. That's what I'm seeing out of what you're saying is, there's, for example, our gym, LA Fitness, there's tables and I see people, and there's internet. You could sit down.
I do it.
Work there on your computer.
I do it.
Right? Before you work out or after you work out.
Yep.
There's a bar there.
Mm-hmm.
Not an alcohol bar,
right.
but there's smoothie and whatnot, right?
Exactly.
So, like you said, instead of buying someplace else, just buy it there, stay there, hang around there, and get comfortable with the place. So now your relationship with the gym is not painful.
I call it my playground, but exactly.
Well, that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, I like the idea.
Here's the other thing, too, and I'll just bring it up. A lot of people like fitness, but they hate gyms, right? But they kind of, what they like to do isn't as accessible, or they can't be consistent with it. So I hung out with a lot of guys in Orlando that were surfers when I was younger. I only like swimming in the ocean. I only like, surfing in the ocean and all these things to stay healthy. Could even be wakeboarding. A lot of guys like to do, wakeboarding and water skiing and things in that nature, but they don't own a boat. If you don't have access to something pretty consistently, how do you expect to do it?
It just gets hard, yeah.
It's hard. So I want to surf all the time to stay in shape. Well, you live 60 miles. How many times are you going to get to the ocean? Let's call it for what it is. What a full-time job.
You know what I think a good idea is for a gym, if they want to really attract people, is create a workstation room for business people.
Interesting, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That you can say, so you know what, let me go to the gym.
It's a great idea.
And at the same time, I'll take my computer and just work there and have a workstation.
Yeah. Or even open a coffee house next to it, hypothetically, just saying. Because Lululemon is doing that. I don't know if you know that, so...
No. Oh, I think you told me about it.
One of them did it. I'm not going to start talking, whatever, but some others are talking about it too, because besides just doing yoga, a lot of people go for coffee. Mm-hmm. And if you put a coffee shop in your retail store and they start hanging there, what are they going to do? They're going to buy clothes as well. But you can't have them like loitering, let's just say, as well. There's kind of a catch-22 there, because before you know it, you got dudes hanging out in Lululemon hitting on women in the dressing rooms. We don't want that either.
You know what? About 10 years ago, I was thinking of buying this this car wash business.
Yeah.
Right? But it wasn't in one of those drive-through. It was a hand wash type. Just people that don't want to go through a machine. They want their cars, detailed kind of. And I was thinking that on the second floor, I was going to do like a kind of grill bar coffee place.
Yeah.
So when they're having their car hand washed, they could just go up there, sit down, have lunch, do whatever they need to do.
Right.
And not feel that they're just wasting time waiting for their car to get detailed.
Right.
So it was like a way of attracting, and it's a second business. Because you got the fee for the car, and then you got the fee for whatever they eat.
It's crazy, yeah. I went to in the Keys, I went to a Starbucks weekend, or during the week, something regarding work. We went there for a few days, and then you get to meet all these Starbucks people, and I was pitching back then. I said, why isn't there a Starbucks like a Hooters? like a lot of beautiful women just serving coffee. It's like, what's the boat here that may be missing? Even waitresses coming out, just something in that nature. And one of the girls there who was in charge of all the real estate globally said, there is one, Rich. It might have been in Portland or on the West Coast, I think. But it was more on the dressing like Victoria's Secret, Fredericks of Hollywood, more risque, I guess.
Well, if you think about it, their logo, the woman had didn't she have like her breast out or something?
Talking
like
the
that?
mermaid on Starbucks?
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
Right, and then they changed the logo a little more conservative,
that.
whatever, but that was the idea. You were very close to it.
Yeah, and right back to us talking about that, again, coffee houses a lot of people hang out at. I think this is how it kind of went, society, a lot of times.
And I think that's, sorry to interrupt, but I think that's why Starbucks became what Starbucks was, because they had that workstation where you're hanging out, you might as well have a coffee.
Yeah, they were the first one that didn't want you in and out, like a Dunkin' Donuts, hypothetically. I mean, they had some seating. Actually, Dunkin' Donuts, originally, they would even serve you. But Starbucks was a place they didn't mind you hanging out.
But the difference between Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, it's the overall feel of it.
Of course.
You know, this feels Starbucks feels more like a living room
For sure.
lounge, right?
Free Wi-Fi. I don't even think Dunkin' Donuts had Wi-Fi then.
No, I think they did.
Way back.
Yeah,
I don't think they did.
But everything is like these booth, very colorful, very
Right.
bright, you know, kind of loud. So it's just a different feel, environment. But I'm getting that connection that you're saying about the gym, and not to, you know, go down the rabbit hole here, but
It's back to clothes, too. Remember we were discussing? Stop letting anything deter you from getting to the gym, too.
yeah.
Like we talk about. So if you don't sometimes have your bag in the car, but you should have backup clothes. So say say I'm just driving around, I'm meeting you for lunch. I have backup clothes in my trunk to work out.
Right.
Because I didn't bring my bag. But say I did bring my bag. Either way, I'm always ready to go work out. It's a mindset. I have freedom to go whenever I want. Not saying, oh my God, I left my bag at home. So that day's blown.
Do you find it, and this might be another topic, do you find it stressful? Well, probably not you, because you're used to this, but I think some people find it stressful that they have to prepare a bag the night before or whenever just to get to the gym. It's like just an extra step.
You can set up 2-3 days in a row. That's where people blow it. So 3 pairs of shorts, 3 pairs of pants, put a pair of gym shoes in there, your socks, underwears, whatever. They give us a towel at our gym, but the only thing you may have to replace is a towel. But in my case, my bag's ready for 3 days.
And that's even if you take a shower at the gym after. Some people don't. They just work out
Exactly.
and leave. So
if you're gonna,
well, that's a good idea, having a couple sets and just don't have to replace the bag every single night.
Yeah, I just
when
pull
you
out
get
my
back
dirty
home.
clothes, separate it, and then I'm ready to go. I know I'm set. So when Rhea does a lot of times she puts it on the staircase, so she has everything stacked. So it's like almost sometimes the same clothes I grab, they're ready to go. So when they're done washed and folded, they don't even go upstairs to my bedroom. I take
they
them,
just go right
and I can put them there. And then sometimes, obviously, I switch it up, but a lot of times they're just ready to go.
right to the bag to the car, you're done.
That's it. I was going to say this. I think if you look at kind of certain things that became cool to hang out, so if you go back to the 70s and 80s, maybe like around our time, a lot of places, for instance, were bars, right? Lounges, even nightclubs, discos, whatever. That's where a lot of people hung out. Let's fast forward a little bit. And what's quite interesting is I love the show Cheers, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
Because my father owned a bar, and I related to that, even as a young boy. And I loved Frasier. Then because I started to follow Frasier even when I was younger, and I'm like, wow, they're in Seattle hanging out. Basically, that looks like a Starbucks. So now you show these guys hanging out now, more or less, in a Starbucks, kind of drinking wine, being kind of snobbish. Like it went from kind of beer drinking guys. I mean, of course, they're drinking mixed hard drinks. Now we're in a Starbucks, or they're kind of being pompous, drinking wine. And then Friends comes along, and I didn't watch a lot of Friends. But Friends was, again, Central Perk, right? They're back to hanging in a coffee house.
In a coffee house.
And I think even Seinfeld, they're hanging in a diner, let's say. And we know you're a New Yorker, and I've been to New York, New Jersey, Chicago. Diners are really, like a lot of people find themselves not being addicted, but hanging out in these places. Yeah. You can do the same thing with fitness. And again, it doesn't have to be a gym. It could be your yoga place, right? Make friends in there. Meet there. You don't, again, always have to work out there. Hang out around there. So, anyways, that's what I was talking
Make
about.
it a habit. Yep.
Yeah, make it a good habit.
Yep.
And again, you don't have to do it 5-7 days a week. But the more accommodating you make anything and the funner you make it, don't kill yourself, man. If you resent going there, then it's not for you. But I don't, when I lived in San Diego, I didn't really fit in because when I was older, but I'll tell you this, when I was there, they're like, there's Navy SEAL dudes. Then there's CrossFit. That was booming when I was there. Obviously, yoga. I like yoga, but I don't do it. You have marathon, triathlon. That's like the capital of the world for all these things. And I'm just
athletes, yeah.
Weights. I was just still weights. But I still liked hanging out and learning so much from all these different people. It's not only
It's a lifestyle.
It's educational.
Yeah.
It's so educational. I'm learning tons of things. They're like going to Tough Mudders and all these things. So, anyways, just a different lifestyle. All right, let's wrap it up there. Robert, anything else you got to say?
That's it for now.
All right, let's
Go
wrap
work
it
out.
up. Yeah, get to the gym. Yeah, talking about you. You going? You're a piece of shit. Goodbye, everyone.